Yes, now, and welcome back to episode 139 of the Top Loaded Podcast. And this week, I'll be looking into the previous London Car Show has just gone. Also, there is a lot of releases been coming out. Impeccable is literally out this week. Obsidian come out last week. We've got our first pictures of the PDC set coming out this December. Women's Sapphire launches tomorrow as well, which obviously for me is a massive one. And we'll talk about a few other sets. But first of all, before I get into this episode, a massive thank you yet again to the guys over at Third Downs UK for powering up this episode of the Top Loaded Podcast, whether it's card supplies, custom card stands, grade preparation kits, or whatever it may be that you need. Head over to their website, check the link in our bio, and use the code TTP10 for 10% off your whole order. And there's no other place to start apart from the London Card Show. Obviously, it was this weekend at Sandown Racecourse. I wasn't there for the main part of the Saturday. I was there for trade night and the Sunday. And like we say, it was a massive, massive show. Yeah, again, this was the first one held over both floors. Obviously, it was a TCG exclusive area downstairs, and the whole of the upstairs was packed again. And it was a fantastic show. Before I talk about the actual show itself on the Sunday, trade night was an absolute success yet again. I got there about an hour and a bit after it started, and it was still very busy in there. It seems that every single year that the every single show that the trade night is on, it gets bigger and better. It started with like 3 rows, then 4 rows, five, six. Now it even stretches a bit around the corner. And like we say, absolute fantastic. Managed to get a deal done at trade night. I will show my pickups after I just talk about the next day. But going on to the Sunday was a very busy day. I remember, and a lot of other people, we was discussing this on Sunday, that the Sunday used to be a very quiet and chill day. All right, it might not be as bedlam as the Saturday, but it's not quiet anymore. It was full up, sold out. It was incredible to see so many people there as well on a Sunday. So many different people there of age groups, backgrounds, whatever it may be. It's such a good show for everyone. And going through like the tables and how it was all laid out, I actually thought, I know Harry said last week that it was quite 50-50 upstairs, and it did definitely see that whilst I was walking around. Obviously, it did help having the TCG section downstairs as well. I didn't venture down there, but when I spoke to a lot of people, they said it was really good down there. But upstairs was fantastic, and how the show was laid out again was absolutely perfect, I would say. Whereas before this new style of like flooring plan that come out, it was sometimes one of them that certain parts of the show you kind of lost a sports table in between a lot of TCG, but now because you're paired with other tables, islands are all the same and stuff like that. It does work very, very well. Obviously, the island that I spent the most amount of time with was the one with Dub Breaks, Lav, Aaron from the Grading Club, Jojo JMS, Sports Cards, obviously Dan, El Toro, LGL, Ireland there with London Sports Cards as well on it. Was a fantastic table, and it's so good to see all sports vendors with each other. They can bounce off each other. They can discuss different deals and everything that's going on. Obviously, it was absolute pleasure to see She Scores Cards there as well, representing for the women's side of the community. And that's going to be a talking point I'll talk about later on about going forward, my plan for the hobby and how my focus is shifting onto a new project that I'm going to start working on. But back to the show, very successful. Seemed to be very busy wherever I was looking. Sub Center was busy, Grading Club was busy. So I did submit 6 stickers to the Grading Club. So when they do come back, hopefully by the end of the month, I'll do a grading like show off on here. But when I was speaking to a lot of vendors, a lot of them had really, really good days this Saturday. And the Sunday as well. But a lot of people were breaking records this Saturday for their London Card Show. Some people were even breaking records for on Saturday for whole weekends in the past, which was fantastic to hear, especially with the November show. Some people are already scaling back their buying because I don't like to use the C word, but Christmas is upon us. It's only about 7 weeks away somehow already. But it seemed like there was a lot of money in the room, a lot of deals getting done, a lot of cars being purchased, and seems to be a good array, good variety of products available, especially in the sports world. Of you had the tables what are mainly flick throughs, then you had other tables that were higher end, then you had some with a mixture, and I feel like as the hobby is like growing and it's just evolving over each show and over the years and months that vendors know what works well for them, what products sell well, what teams do well, what cars do well, and people do now know and have a identity. It shows that you can kind of know before you go up to a table now, especially if you have been to multiple shows and seen the same vendor, that they will have a certain type of product. And it's great to see that some people go for the graded route, some go for the raw, some go for the vintage, some go for the modern, some go for different sports or different products, and it's great to see. Um, Walking around, obviously, from my perspective, is obviously, as I always say precaution, because not to be taken out of context, but for me, there's never going to be that much actually available at a London card show. There's of our group of women's collectors in the country, there's about, I'd say, 20 or so actual big time collectors, and there's only ever going to be a handful at a show, especially of what is vendoring. So you're kind of hoping that other people have opened women's products. Obviously, football cars direct, Kelly and Paul always have an abundance of women's product. What they've opened, and always tempting me, which I have got here for when I do show things off. So but in terms of the actual show, it seemed to go very well. I spoke to the team briefly during Saturday night and then Sunday. They were very happy how it went, and no doubt it's crazy to think that the next show's next February already. But by the time we know it, it'll come round. And I think, like we say, it was the first step, this one, in the evolution of the London Card Show. Of there's been clear progression since the show has been at Sandown. You start with Sandown, just downstairs. Downstairs with trade night, 2 days. Upstairs, the whole of the upstairs. Then you went whole of the upstairs and downstairs. So you're slowly ticking off all the boxes, and it always seems to work. Um, Nice little touch as well. This time was the VIP area. Spent about 20, 30 minutes in there, just relaxing, rewinding from all the chaos what was going on outside, of just how busy it is. Sat down with a good friend of mine, Aidan, who made it to the show. It was lovely. And obviously HJA as well. It was nice just to sit in there for 10 minutes. It gave us area for people. There was a little breaking area, a little vlogging area. On the Saturday, there was a bar open. But it was just nice. You can just go in there, sit down, relax, recover, go back out, and then enjoy the rest of the show. Um, as as the actual day went for the Sunday, I wasn't at the show the full day. Famously, us women's were playing during the day, so I did take 2 hours out from the show. But seems to be very good. Whereas before, I've experienced the last 2 Sundays of London Card Show, but prior to that, I'd missed a couple. And the earlier upstairs and downstairs Sunday ventures, when I was there, it seemed to be getting to about 2:30, 3 o'clock, and people were heading out. But because of how busy it was on Sunday, near enough every vendor was still there at 3:30 when I left. And I think that's a true testament to the team of what they've put on, that this is a show that runs from 9 till 4, and people will be there the whole time buying, trading. But I always find it funny as well with the London Car Show, because it always gets to the point of about 2:30, 3 o'clock area on the Sunday. People have been buying, selling. That's when you go for the grading. There was queues for the different middlemen services were there. You're getting a couple of boxes like I did just before leaving. I only grabbed a couple of blasters just for a fun rip for later on. But it was a very good show, and no doubt, I think everyone we spoke to, everyone that I spoke to as well about the podcast there, and let's say a massive thank you yet again for everyone showing their support. It really does drive me on to really try and make this the best podcast possible. And there is plans starting to roll in the background that's going to make this one a lot better, and some very exciting guests coming on very soon as well. But the London Car Show, obviously, for me, it's been a success every time. So it's closed out 2024 now for the card shows. Probably will be my last card show of the year as well. I was looking at a couple of other ones which were like possibilities, but with the schedule, it's just not looking possible. But I've got to say, it's always a pleasure running into the friends you make in the hobby. Makes the experience so much better. And like I say, a massive thanks to everyone yet again for showing your love. But like I say, a massive thanks to obviously Harry, Katie, James, the whole team for putting on such a good show. No doubt we can't wait for the February one to happen. For anything, I would probably the questions I was asking for a few questions. I was talking to a few people and had a few questions for me to answer. Like anything you would work on, and it's so tricky because it's definitely out of my pay grade. I haven't. I wouldn't even. I can't fathom to begin where to say, oh, this thing could do with improving, or that one, because obviously some things are out of their control. But I couldn't possibly really say much in terms of what I personally witnessed. Obviously, I weren't there this Saturday. What I could say improved. So, like from my perspective, it's an absolutely fantastic show. Another question someone asked, well, what was your favourite part of the show apart from the social aspect? I think it was picking up one of these items at trade night. Don't get me wrong, some of these cards are absolutely incredible, but there's one special item which is now one of my prize collection pieces. So, like I say, absolute fantastic show yet again from the team. Massive congratulations. Can't wait to go back to Sandown in 2025. I believe the dates are the 8th and 9th of February. The first two dates have been announced and are over on the social media channel, but I believe it is the 8th and 9th of February. So moving on now, because I know people will like to know what I picked up. So if you're not listening along and you're watching along, you'll be able to see these. I'll talk through these for people just listening on, but don't worry. If you head over to my Instagram page, which is RP Trading Cards, these cards and this other item will be getting posted up in the not too distant future. Don't worry, I will start uploading more. And the first card that I'm going to show, actually, I didn't. It's going to be quite funny. Didn't actually pick up at the show. I didn't buy it at the show, but I picked it up of a good friend Lav, who I got this in China, and it finally come back. So people know Women's Chrome this year. No, I'm quite a big Wendy Renard collection. Do have some of her cards in the background on my display. This is the very short print to 5 patch auto relic from this year's Chrome. It says it's one of them with tops. It says game more memorabilia on the front. On the back, it says it isn't. So we don't quite know if it is or isn't. But what this is one of my favorite pieces, especially probably my favorite piece in my Wendy Renard collection for the moment. Moving on now to some of the other cards. Before I show off the 4 cards that I bought from Football Cards Direct, here is part of one of my rainbows that I'm currently chasing, Stina Black Stenius from Knockout. Obviously, a massive thanks to Sam and Tara over at She Scores Cards for letting me pick up this one. Do please go and check them out. I know they will be vending at a Cardiff card show, I believe, coming up soon. So do check their thing out and please give them a follow. They're doing some great stuff for the women's community. But that was a lovely pickup. Now just needed to 10 and to 5 to complete the full rainbow of that one. And now moving on to the place that I headed first at the London Card Show this weekend, Football Cards Direct. We was in the bar at our hotel with them the Saturday night, and always great to spend time with their team as well. And I always know I will be tempted when I go to the Football Cards Direct store, especially with Women's Chrome just releasing. So I picked up 4 items from them, starting with just a little card that's not really PC, but it is PC. A nice Georgia Stanway Gold Queens of Football to 50. And then coming by some absolutely, these are all proper PC pickups. A couple of these all 3 of them I didn't think I'd be walking away with. Up first is a Mariana Caldente, famously now of Arsenal, to 10 from the Campione set from Barcelona, which is a lovely one. She hasn't got too many rookies outside Chrome and Sapphire. And then what I think is one of the nicest parallels in Sapphire, especially for last year, the Mariana Caldente rookie purple even to 15. Having it in the mag doesn't really do it justice. So there will be a picture over on my Instagram very soon of that card. I'm absolutely over the moon to be able to pick that one up. And finally, for context for people, I'm going very much quite in on Wendy Renard in this year's Chrome. I might attempt the Master Rainbow, be out of control, but I'm going to try and pick up at least all her to 5s, one of each one. And luckily, I'm really happy to manage to do that. I think this is an absolutely stunning card. Red to 5, Queens of Football, Wendy Renard. And moving on now to my last item. A massive thanks to a very good friend of mine and hobby, and a good friend of the podcast as well, Fab, obviously Tickets and Slabs, who had one of the best collection of tickets I've seen at trade night. He was showing off and had a couple potential for sale. The couple, obviously, the one that I have is not one of these ones, but there was 2 that caught my eye straight away. Had a UK premiere of Oppenheimer, the film. It's one of my favorite films of all time. And then had, I think it was the world premiere of Shawshank Redemption, which is my favorite film of all time, absolute classic. If you haven't watched it, please watch it. Fantastic film. But had a piece which he said he really wanted it to go to me as an Arsenal collector, especially Arsenal women's collector. And I can guarantee you this piece will never leave my collection. This is locked away, tucked away, never going anywhere. It'll be out on show maybe. However, this is my prize to in my women's collection now, especially my first women's ticket. And here you go. It is a Arsenal versus Umar Isake Women's Cup from 2007. People might go, what's the significance in that? This was the second leg of the Women's Champions League final as we know it called today. The Arsenal won the Women's Champions League, becoming the only team still to date in the English or British Isles to have won the Women's Champions League. So that is an absolute incredible piece. And I thank Fav over at Ticket and Slabs very much for that one. But moving away from the London Card Show now, it's quite a hot time of year for releases. We've got pictures, we've got checklists, we've got releases. I'm going to start with one which I think is quite comical. It's actually, to be fair, there's two which are quite comical that are releasing now, both from Tops. I'm not trying to throw shade at Tops, but I just don't get why. There was famously a set that I actually said I was quite looking forward to at one point, 2 years ago. The under 22 Euro Championships Bowman. Fantastic set when the 2022 Euros was taking place. Is now releasing in November 2024. Yeah, you probably thinking the same if you haven't heard this already. Why would you bring it out over a year? Not even over a year, 2 years after the tournament. I don't know. Let them decide that. That will be releasing soon. Don't get me wrong, there's probably quite some cool rookies, but since some of them rookies were in the under 21 tournament, technically some of them will be 24 years of age now. So I won't talk about that too much. We'll probably go into depth a bit more on that when it releases. Let's see the checklist. Today, Panini have dropped the first pictures for PDC set coming out in December, and it does look very nice. Obviously, it was never going to be something high end. It wasn't ever going to be a Prism set or something like that. It's going to probably go along the lines of a score / their created sets that Panini do put out. But it does look very nice. The inserts look very nice. Look a clean design. Some of the designs are going to be very hard to get in good condition because they have got the black borders, which are known for chipping. But like I say, come December, I think that's going to be a big one for the collectors, among us, especially as the darts fans. Moving on now to a couple of releases that have come out. Well, one come out and one checklist is, well, it's been started being broken in China at the moment as of recording this one. WWE, that actually is a set. I was looking at that, but Impeccable is coming out this week. Looks good. Good to see a lot more on-card autos. Famously, that was quite a thing renowned for Impeccable, having the on-card autos. I know with COVID and stuff like that, it did really put a dampener on getting the cards out to athletes and stars to get signed, but it does seem that a lot of them are returning. A lot of on-card auto, it's split. I can see so far people liking and disliking the design this year. I actually think it's very nice. There is a lovely dual auto design. Whereas normally they're landscape, they're actually portrait again, which I prefer, personally speaking, and I think it's going to go down a wonder. Will it be? It's always going to be one of them sets Impeccable that there will be cheap cards, but you got to remember as well. So if you are buying into Impeccable, remember it is last season still. So obviously Luton and stuff like that will be in there. So for you Luton collectors, that is absolutely fantastic. But don't forget, if you're an Ipswich Town fan, you have to wait that little bit longer to get your release. So Impeccable's always one of them. It's one of my favorite releases. Sadly, I've moved out of the world of really collecting men's stuff, so I won't probably be picking much of that. Another release that we see come out last week was Panini Obsidian. I think people might disagree. Let me know. Drop us a DM. Drop me a DM. I think Obsidian is still one of the most underrated sets in cards. It just doesn't get the love. Like the Color Blast, they get love because Color Blasts are one in a really nice design. But some of these floods and designs, there's a new one called Night Moves, I believe, or Night something along them. White Knight, it's called. Sorry. Fantastic looking cards. It's in the Contra world. like moon in the background, looks fantastic. The floods this year again look absolutely incredible. Seeing a few QC issues, but that seems just to be a problem with all sets at the moment. Obviously, a bit more of a bummer on such a high end set where you're retailing it for around £1,000, but it does look very good. The checklist is decent to an extent, I would say. Obviously, there's a few chases in it rookie wise. I know the Arsenal fans will be going heavy on Ethan Wanyeri. But like I say, it's an interesting one. Another checklist that was released as well was Topps Deco. Obviously, now that is us shooing in the season of 2024, 2025 already. I know Lav, who listens to this, a massive Chelsea fan, Gus as well, would be very excited to see the Eden Hazard, Cole Palmer dual auto. And obviously, you've got to remember, it's going to be very intriguing to see how this set goes down because this is going to be the first set where Lamine Yamal is not a rookie. So he's not going to be carrying this product because he's no longer a rookie. So how do they go about this year? Because he carried the whole year of product and still was not doing that well in terms of product releases. So I don't know what they're going to do this year because whoever designs the Topps checklist decided to put a lot of the rookies in Merlin Chrome and Stadium Club Chrome right at the end of the year, which they could have saved until the 2024-2025 season product. At least that would have meant some more rookies. So they're going to have to go out and find some more of them. But like I say, Deco's I'm never too massive a fan of it, but some nice cards in there. And then moving on to one of the more interesting news for myself that come out today. And obviously, as of recording this, it's Monday. Obviously, it comes out on Tuesday. But tomorrow, Wednesday, Women's Sapphire does release. And obviously, it is following the similar format to Men's Sapphire and obviously the UCC product of this year. Whereas last year, the boxes were retailing for around £75 to £85, where it only featured 2 numbered cards to 99 or less and a chance of an auto. It is now going to the format of 3 to 4 numbered cards per box with a guaranteed auto. And I know what you're thinking out there, ladies and gentlemen, who know Women's Chrome. It's just going to be the same autos over and over again. They have shortened the women's autos checklist. Yes, the image variations are back as well, and it's not the strongest list of variation players. I got kind of excited when I see Hakan had a image variation and realized it was Felicity Schroeder. Sapphire Selections is back, featuring Aitana Bonmati and Alexia Porteas. So will it be priced well? Will it be better to be buying that than Chrome? Put it this way, Chrome has fallen off a massive cliff. Obviously, it was retailing for £120 on the Topps website, and as far as I'm aware, was still in stock when I last checked. For 3 to 4 numbered and probably a base auto, too much it was. And for this, on Card Hobby and other auctioning platforms, I have seen boxes go from about £80 to £95. So some people just taking a loss on these boxes to get some money back and recuperate. However, I believe, obviously, we haven't seen this product yet, but I do firmly believe that Sapphire is going to be a great release. When we're going for this 3 to 4 numbered cards, I think it's going to be better. Shorter auto checklist. However, the biggest dub we have taken in the women's scene is getting rid of the green Sapphire to 99 parallel. And then not replacing it, which is quite intriguing. They're cutting the parallel checklist by half. Yep, it's gone from 99 down to gold to 50. So we are losing the whole green parallel. So that is 99 cards per person less than last year. And with the increased number in each box to 3 or 4, it's going to be quite an intriguing rip. I feel like there's going to be a lot shorter run of cases this year on Women's Sapphire. So I really do believe you might see some cases where you potentially could get more than one of one, or you get a Papadashara and a red or a couple of purples. It's going to be a really nice release, and I really look forward to that one. That's kind of recapping the releases. I want to keep this episode to about 30 minutes this week, just as a thank you. Plus, My voice is really going from yesterday. And it's just I want to talk about the future for the hobby for me. Don't worry, the podcast is going nowhere. I'm definitely not going nowhere. I'm in this for the long run. However, I'm really going to start focusing my attentions to trying to grow the women's community within the UK and around the world, but obviously a focus within the UK. For me personally, I've really taken a big enjoyment of switching from the men's collecting side of the game to the women's side of it. Honestly, the community that is there is absolutely sensational. People from all around the world that I've spoken to have been absolutely fantastic. Everyone has their own look out for each other. However, we are so small in the UK. I've been very fortunate to meet quite a few of the women's collectors. Obviously, I've met some more than others. Some people delve into the world of it as well, which is great to see. Likes of obviously Jack GBW's obviously delved into the women's world. She's got cards are doing an absolutely fantastic job, and there's quite a few other collectors. However, we are growing this scene together, and I really want to try use this platform, but also use the energy and enthusiasm I have for the women's side to try and grow it. We have the WSL sticker book coming out this month. Hopefully, one day we'll get a WSL card set, which would be fantastic. But it's obviously going to be an uphill battle. However, we're hearing new women's collectors are coming to London card shows. New women's collectors are popping up all the time. It's great to see. And it's going to be one of them. I don't know how I'm going to do it yet. It might be a new Instagram page. It might be there's still, I'm still working on a few things, but that's going to be my focus moving forward for like just try and help grow the community. When I set up this podcast, one of my goals was to help the UK scene, especially where I could possibly can to give people a platform. And it's going to be a similar thing, but I'm going to really focus on the women's side as well. So, any people out there who are listening who are women's collectors, do please drop me a message, whether it's on the podcast account, personal account, see what you think could help the UK scene grow. But also, if you're not a part, if you are a women's collector listening along, or you want to get into it, please join the women's Discord. Just drop me a message and I'll send you over the link. It's a great community space, and that's going to be some of my attention going forward. So there you'll see maybe some other content related things on my personal thing, or even a new channel create. But like I say, just a massive thank you yet again for everyone at London Card Show who's come and said hello, wish me all the best with the podcast. And like I say, I'm trying to work behind the scenes on a few really exciting projects, but also some really good people coming on, from grading companies to overseas people to some of your favorites as well in the UK. But like I say, a massive thank you for every single person who's taken half hour out of their busy week. And like I say, if anyone ever needs to talk to anyone or anything, please make sure you always drop me a message. Our inboxes are always open. Um, don't feel like you ever are alone or you want someone to talk to. Don't worry, someone's always there for you. And if you are struggling, please reach out. It would be all anonymous, whatever you may be, but there's always someone out there talking to you. But on that one, just want to say a massive thanks yet again for Third Down UK for powering up this episode of the Top Loader podcast. Whether you need supplies, custom car sound, grade preparation kits, or any of that stuff, head over to their website, check the link in our bio, use TTP10 at checkout to save 10% off your whole order. But until next time, hope everyone out there is doing well, staying safe, buying, selling, trading, and all that good jazz. But most importantly, happy hobbying and good night.